Welcome back, brothers and sisters of Christ. My name is Brianna and I'm back with another video. And for today's video is the enemy uses alcohol to ruin relationships. As y'all know, a huge part of my testimony is I struggle with alcoholism. Looking back on a lot of situations, I realized the enemy was really working overtime to ruin every close relationship I had in my life. All the people that was the closest to me, all the people that really loved and cared about me, he was trying to ruin those relationships one by one. Almost every disagreement my fiance and I had, either I was drunk or we both were drunk. One of us was under the influence or both of us was under the influence. And this was before we were engaged. So our arguments would be very intense. You know, we said a lot of hurtful things to one another. Oftentimes we would bring up the past. It was just very unhealthy. And every time alcohol was involved. But now that we both decided to give up drinking, our relationship has been so much more healthier than ever. And you know, if we have a disagreement, it doesn't go far and we immediately forgive each other. We respect each other. A lot of the things that we said and did to each other, a lot of the ways we made each other feel, we wouldn't ever dare to do those things to each other this day and age, because we don't drink anymore. We're sober. The thing is, alcohol gives you this confidence to do and say anything, and it's not a good confidence. You know, you will do and say anything out of character that's bad. And that's what alcohol did to me. Like, I had the boldness and confidence to do and say anything, but it wasn't good things. It wasn't good boldness. It wasn't good confidence. And things that happened in the past, yeah, I just would never do sober-minded. But for one, us seeking the Lord was, you know, we have to give all praise and glory to the Lord. That is first and foremost the reason why we have changed. Secondly, you know, maturity. We matured, you know, with growth, with age, within Christ. But alcohol has played a huge factor in our relationship growing the moment we decide to let that go. But there has been a few other situations that has happened. For one, my father and I, you know, I have a great father. My father has been in my life since birth. You know, he's a great father. Literally no complaints. But when I would drink alcohol, our relationship would take a turn for the worse. And oftentimes I got disrespectful to the point my father thought he was going to have to cut me off for good. Like, yeah. My baby sister and I, we're super close, like connected at the hip, baby. Like, I helped raise her. And we've had a few experiences where we clash and alcohol was involved, and it almost ruined our relationship. I also had an incident with my older sister that almost ruined our relationship. I got into it with, you know, close family, other family members, cousins and stuff. And every situation, I will say every situation was not my fault though. Yeah, but I will say every situation alcohol was involved. But there was a decent amount of situations that was my fault. But this is the thing. It got to the point where I was always the blame, even if it wasn't my fault. So, you know, like when you're a bad kid in school, you're known to be a troublemaker. You're known to get in trouble. Like, the finger is always pointed at you. It's you. Like, once you make that name for yourself, it's always you. But even during those times when you didn't even do anything in class, but the teacher blaming you, because that's what they're used to. That's what you're labeled as now. That's how it happened with me. I started off as like being the problem, and then down the line, even if I wasn't the problem, I was made out to be the problem because I was drinking. I was drunk. So people would just blame it on me being drunk all the time. Like, oh, she's just drunk again. Even if it was somebody else that did something to me, I had became labeled as that. And I'm not saying like, you know, because it was definitely things that were my fault, but it wasn't always my fault. So that's another thing with alcohol. Like, once you become that person that always acts out of character, it's going to be hard to get people to break that thought of you. It's going to be hard for people to believe you, even when it's not your fault. Like, now that's just you. That's who people look at you as. But these are a lot of the people that I love dearly, you know. And with all those things that happened, all of them considered like cutting me off, like, you know, considered distancing themselves from me, because it was literally becoming a routine. Like, I would drink, I would crash out, I apologize, I do it all over again. And they were tired of it. And I understand, because I was tired of it my own self. Like, I wanted to stop, but I didn't know how. Like, I literally cried out to the Lord so many times about this, year after year, like, because it was like 2019 up until like 2021-ish. But the Lord answered. You know, the Lord is always on time. Our prayers does not go unanswered. He doesn't leave or forsake us. And I am just so happy that those times are behind me. But every time I drank, I literally didn't know myself anymore. Like, it got so bad that my dad one day was hugging me and crying to me. And he literally was like, I want my daughter back, as he was crying. You know, mind you, I rarely see my father cry. I can literally count on one hand how many times I've seen my father cry. Like, my father, it has been through a lot. He's a tough guy. He doesn't cry much. And if he do cry, we don't see it. So I knew at that moment, I'm like, this done got deep. And I brought this up to him, and he said he doesn't remember. But I remember this so vividly. I remember everything we did that day. And I will never forget it, because the hurt in his voice was literally heartbreaking to hear. Like, and even when I look back on that and think about that, it just brings tears to my eyes. The pain that I brought my family members, my loved ones, when I was drinking. It didn't only affect or harm me, but it was affecting them as well and harming them as well. So the enemy will use alcohol to destroy you in the close relationships you have, so you can completely lose yourself, because I was on the verge of it. Especially when he knows that you have people that literally love and care about you. He wants to get them out of the picture so he can get you all alone and get in your head, because all of your love and support will be gone at that point. If he succeeds, you have nobody. And also, outside of me and my situations, there's other people that I, you know, that have told me or that I've witnessed, that I know that when they drink alcohol, it causes divisions amongst them and others, whether it's a relationship or just loved ones like me. I witnessed it happen in other people's lives, and it made me realize that's what the enemy's attacking. That's what he uses to attack us. That's what he uses to try to separate us. And it's with drugs too. People that, you know, do drugs too. Oftentimes, drugs and alcohol, a lot of times, a lot of people find themselves getting into it with the people closest to them, with the people that they love the most. And when you do that, you start getting into it with everybody, okay? And when the enemy isolates you, you start thinking nobody loves you, nobody care about you. You ain't got nobody, you all by yourself. All along, you done, more than likely, you did it to yourself, because the drugs and the alcohol got you acting out of character. But see, the enemy gets you away from the people. And then you started thinking in your head that they don't love and care about you, even though that you're the one that caused the issues most of the time. The enemy, he likes to get us alone. He don't want us to have no support system. He don't want nobody around us that love and care about us, because the people that love and care about you, they're going to try to stop you from the things that you're doing that's going to lead you to destruction. So that's why the enemy needs them gone. He's like, let me try to ruin these relationships along the way, so this person have nobody to run to. They ain't going to have nobody but me in their ear talking to them. Nobody to talk them out of drinking. Nobody to talk them out of putting the drugs down. He ain't slick, y'all. And we're not even going to get into why they call alcohol spirits. That's a whole nother video for another time. What I noticed when I drank alcohol, it altered my whole mindset, y'all. The way I think and what I think, things I would not think sober. It brings up a lot of old traumatizing memories. It's something I noticed, stuff you ain't thought about in years. Let you get drunk, let you drink some alcohol. You just have a random thought to come to your mind. It's just even like an evil thought or just something that happened to you. It literally triggers the negative in our mind. And when you sit down and think about this, it's really super scary for something to take over your body and mind like that. But obviously back then, I wasn't thinking about it in that way. The stuff that the Lord reveals to you when you come to him is so amazing, y'all. Like, this, we don't even think about certain things when you're in this world. But once you come to the Lord, he starts revealing stuff to you. When you used to do this, this is what used to happen. And this is why I don't want you to do this. Like, oh my goodness, y'all. It's just amazing. But long story short, I almost lost all the people I love due to alcohol. I thank God that they stuck by my side, because baby, they stuck by. I thank God for that, because it was getting bad. You know, it was getting ugly, y'all. And that dang alcohol. And it's like literally taking over our generation. Like, everybody feel like you have to drink alcohol to have fun. Like, alcohol. Like, it's taking over. And it's taking over our minds. It's taking over our bodies. And it has to be stopped. It has to be stopped. I can't stand it at this point, because looking back on all the things that drinking alcohol has caused me, no. But yeah, that's what the enemy do, y'all. He uses alcohol. He uses drugs as well. But for my situation, it was alcohol. You know, he used those things to ruin you. Okay? And ruin the people around you, and make you ruin your relationships that you have with the people around you that love you. But we got 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion looking for someone to devour. I've used this scripture before, but it's so good, because be alert and of sober mind. Because if you're not sober, 9 times out of 10, you're not alert. Okay? Your guard is down. And the enemy knows that. The enemy sees that. And that's his way to creep on in like a roaring lion, because he's looking for someone to devour. And he almost got me, but no, the Lord wasn't going. But that's his tactic, y'all, because as we know, we are not ourselves. We are under the influence. Okay, it's easy for the enemy to get in our head and deceive us when we're under the influence. It's almost like you can just hear, it's like you can hear the enemy voice loud and clear when you're under the influence. Oh, curse them out, hit below the belt, say this, bring up this. Like, he just be in your ear. And we just be eating it up, hyping ourselves up, like, I'm about to tell this person. You know what I mean? Like, things we would never do sober, like I said. Like, it's just ridiculous. So, that's all that I have for today, y'all. If this word is not for you, it's for somebody else. Remember, I'm telling y'all this because I love y'all. God bless.